Hello, Steve White, Trek White 89 for Steve White's 89. Well, I just watched episode 9 from season 3 of the Orville, the second last episode for the season of 10. I'm really trying to like the Orville. I'm having a bit of difficulty this season. I realised why. On one level, it's because they stopped copying Next Generation, and at some point they started copying Deep Space Nine. And I don't like Deep Space Nine because it's basically War Trek. So it's like Star Wars. And parts of this episode felt very much like the prequel series. Just a lot of effects, bombastic music just going on and on and on. And I must confess there was a point where I turned it off and I lay down for about an hour and went to sleep. And then I had something to eat. And then I watched the rest of the episode. Not that it didn't end well and it wasn't good overall, but just some parts of it were just too much. Just effects, music. It was like watching one of the prequel movies. So okay. So this episode, and I must admit, the first shot, because I wasn't thinking in terms of it's the 9th episode, it's basically the end of the season, the end of the series. They have to start wrapping things up. The first shot is of Krill, and I'm like, oh no, it's going to be a Krill episode. We're back to the Dominion War again. Okay, so basically the Mocklin show up and join the Krill, which was hilarious at first because they're like, well, we want to take over. And, you can't lead, and you're a woman. And she's like, yeah, either you respect the fact that I'm a leader and, lead this battle with me, or F off. And they're like, okay. And I thought, wow, how long is that going to last? But it lasted till the end of the episode. I kind of thought they might have done something more with that, where the Mocklin couldn't handle dealing with a female leader, especially a very strong female leader, but they did. So basically the Union created a drive that, a device, I don't know what they were actually calling it now, I think just the device, that basically puts out a charge that destroys any, all, and only Kaylon ships. So we see that at the start, and I thought it was a simulation. Honestly, I was like, oh god, yeah, here we go. And then at the end, he's going to turn around, it's a simulation. I'm like, oh no, that's real. Okay, they've actually created a device to destroy them. That happens suddenly, and they even addressed that in the episode. It's like, yes, we suddenly created this. So then comes the moral issue, which Ed brings up and no one else, which is odd. Do we create a device with enough power to destroy all of them and commit genocide? Or do we just knock on the door and say, yeah, hey, we can kill you all now, do you want to stop fighting? So the council decides on that approach. So they go to Kaylon, and they are like, yeah, no. They first start shooting, and eventually, after they knock out 2 little mini fleets, they go, yes, we'll talk to you now. They go down, and it's funny, they say, okay, we agree to your terms, but we'll work out a way how to stop this device. And I'm like, I'm with Charlie here? She was like, yeah, no, we should have killed them all because they're not going to stop until they work out how to, disarm this device and kill us. And I'm like, she's kind of right. They don't have to kill all of them, but they have to knock out enough of them that they're not a threat. Like, not genocide, but just a healthy dose of defeat. But then, of course, she and no one else is really happy with the peace, really, because the anxiety of living under, they're eventually going to work out how to, get past this weapon and keep coming after us, because they didn't say, we're going to stop. They didn't have any revelation. They were just like, okay, we have no choice. We will accept this for now and, work out how to destroy you in the meantime. So a bunch of people led by Ted Danson. I'm like, really? Okay, he's, okay. That's sad because he obviously won't be in the show again because, I just thought because of his decision, but also because they blow him up at the end after they get the device. So they steal the device. They take it to the Mocklin / Krill. I want to say Cylon, then I want to say Kaylon, and then I'm like, no, it's the Krill. I'm sorry, it's very late. So yeah, they go and they give it to them, but they kill him because they don't want him to let everyone know that they're working together. But then they work out from the weapons and everything that they are working together anyway. So they realize, okay, we have to get this back. So now it's a rescue mission to save the Krill, because obviously he gave it to them knowing that they would use it to commit genocide, because he knew they were the only people who would do it. So of course they have to do this. And that's where we have the big Star Wars battle, which just went on and on and on. But what was worse was after the initial piece, and I forgot to mention this probably because I was trying to block it from my brain, but I want to comment on it, was they have a little celebration at the Friday the 13th Part 4 cabin, which is lovely to see in the daylight. And Gordon's singing again with Charlie. It's like, that doesn't help. And I wanted to scratch my ears out. I wanted to scratch my eyes out. I went into another room and was just saying, stop singing, stop singing. Eventually they did. And that was when they got the call to say that the device was stolen. So back to the Star Wars Episode 1, Episode 2, Episode 3, ongoing wooden end battle. That was when I had to pause the video for a minute and I lay down and like fell asleep for an hour. Then I got something to eat and I started watching it again. And it ended fairly well, because they basically broke in and they there was a big fight between Talia and Kelly. Eventually she was rescued by the tough chick alien security guard, I can't remember her name. And they realised, well, okay, they've already set the Death Star in motion. We can't stop it, so the only way is to overload it. And for some reason, Charlie's the only one who can do it. So she stays and everyone else leaves, and she dies. She sacrifices herself to save the Cylons, the Kaylon. And I'm like, would she really do that? Because I felt there were a few moments where she was thinking, I could just not do this and kill them all. But she knew on some level that it's genocide, it's wrong. Their whole race is not valueless. There are some of them, like Isaac and the other one, because they used him as an excuse, the one that they had sort of given emotion, and they're like, he didn't evolve that. And Ted Danson was the one who argued this, like, he didn't evolve on his own. We had a scientist did that to him, basically. It does show some does show there's a potential for that, but unless you've got a team of scientists who can go and, you know, transform 10 billion of these people, you know, we're going to have to destroy them. So she stays behind, and the planet blows up, and it's quite an epic explosion, actually. It was really well done, the way they filmed it. They really let it just unfold. It wasn't just a big, you know, Death Star boom at the end. It was pretty good, actually. But there was some blue waves coming out. I'm like, did she not stop it quickly enough? Because it goes to the last line. And for a minute I thought maybe she hadn't totally destroyed it. Maybe some of the Kaylon were going to be destroyed. But I guess it was just the energy source that, I guess, when that was part of the explosion, looked kind of like the wave that the smaller device was setting out. It confused me for a second. But basically, they saved the day. They had a memorial for her, and Isaac did a really good little speech. And I thought, oh, this could go wrong. They could try and be comedic with him not really understanding humanity. And it starts off that way, talking about her liking, I think, toast with berries or something, or muesli with berries, or some breakfast cereal. But he basically said she sacrificed herself, and her, you know, what she's done is going to be affecting, the future for generations. And it was a nice tribute. What was there was something else that happened that I wanted to comment on? Oh damn! I should have taken better notes. It's not there. But it ended well. I mean, it didn't. It's like, yes, it proved to the Cylons, I mean the Kaylon, that humanity wasn't, evil, that they weren't the same as their builders or enslavers or whatever, that, this person who hated them sacrificed their life for them because it was the right thing to do, because, we're not evil. So they actually decided to stand down, and they actually gave them a provisional seat on the Union, assuming they behave, they will actually get a full seat and so forth, and they will have a part of democracy. And they said, democracy is very inefficient. And they're like, yes, but it's still better than anything else that exists. And society and life and races all over the world have proven that, because it, always stops the powerful from overpowering the less powerful, at least, for a while. So it was an interesting little political comment right at the end. They threw it in there right at the end like a little grenade for all the right-wing people to go crazy over. But overall, it was good, but there were just some moments that really stretched and were tedious, and I wasn't buying Charlie's sacrifice for the most part, but it worked well overall in the story, but I wasn't really buying it. But it really did feel like the sequel trilogy, prequel trilogy, I can't talk, it's too late, I'm past 10 minutes, I'm going to go. I'm wondering what the next episode is going to be. I think it's called Into the Unknown or Future Unknown. So I'm not sure. The series isn't going to continue. As far as anyone can tell, they have to plan this like it's the final episode just in case. So I'm curious where they're going to go with it. I really missed a lot of the adventure and exploration that you'd normally get from this show, because they spent so much time focusing on the Cylon, Kaylon, Krill War, and I think that was a bit of a waste. I think they should have just had a bunch of little separate adventures. It would have been a lot more fun. And I'm hoping if they have a 4th season, they'll do a bit more of that, like Star Trek. I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I'm sorry that I was really messy with this one, but I'm really tired and not feeling well. But I did want to talk about the episode. It was interesting. It was cringe. It was dragging out, but it had some good elements, and it rounded up everything and ended off everything and wrapped everything up really well, season-wise and maybe series-wise. So I am enjoying the show overall, but I just have some huge issues with it that kind of bother me. But I will enjoy it more watching it later after I've seen it, and the review is going to be a lot better, knowing what's coming and not expecting anything new or different, and just enjoying it for what it is. So when I eventually watch it on DVD, I'm going to enjoy it a lot more. I'm going to go. Thanks. Bye.